delighted to see so many of our airport partners, our stakeholders from the local community, as well as representatives from regional businesses gathered here as we make the formal opening of the new North Terminal extension. May I say a sincere thank you to Sir John Major, who has kindly agreed to act as our guest of honour at today's event. Obviously, you will all know that Sir John is a former Prime Minister, but he is also the senior strategic advisor to GIP. The second anniversary of the GIP-led acquisition of the airport is only 2 weeks away. You may remember how early, on the 4th of December in 2009, the GIP-led team came into the airport for the first time. The key message that morning was very simple. It was really to lay out our ambition for Gatwick Airport, and the key message was that we want to compete to grow to become London's airport of choice. This was coupled with a commitment to upgrade and to modernise Gatwick and to transform the experience both for leisure passengers but also for business passengers. Just look around you. £73 million has been invested in this new North Terminal extension, and we plan to invest over £500 million in the North Terminal alone. In the future, up to 20 million passengers will make use of the North Terminal facility and enjoy travelling through the revitalised North Terminal. Overall, since December of 2009, we've invested over £600 million at the airport, placing orders for projects in both the North and the South Terminal. Already completed and more than £450 million worth of those projects. At any time, that's impressive investment. However, given the current economic climate, it's a fantastic story. Not only building infrastructure, but creating jobs to bring revenues into the local and the regional economy, whilst delivering a much better level of service to our passengers and to our airline partners. Today very much has a celebratory tone. I'm immensely proud of what has been achieved over the past 2 years by the collective efforts of our staff, working with a huge range of partners at the airport to transform Gatwick into the leading modern airport that passengers expect. I trust that you, like me, have a great sense of achievement in what has been achieved. So let me give you a quick overview of some of the major projects that we have completed at the airport following the change of ownership. We should all be very proud of what we've achieved so far. Together we've worked hard to change our airport, to offer passengers an experience that Gatwick can be proud of, and the feedback from our passengers has been very encouraging. However, there is more to be done in the years ahead if we are to realise our ambition of competing to grow to become London's airport of choice. It now gives me great pleasure in asking Sir John Major to address you to mark the completion of the North Terminal extension. Sir John.
Well, Stuart, thank you very much and good morning everyone. When David Rowland invited me to open this North Terminal extension, I was absolutely delighted to accept. And there were many reasons for this. Firstly, because as a frequent traveller, I certainly welcome improvements in our national airports. But perhaps even more so because they're the principal gateways into and out of our island nation. And I don't think it's possible really to overstate the importance of that. The airports are vital to our national economic well-being. They enable British business to connect with markets around the world and of course increasingly the new and important markets in the East. They are essential for Britain to trade, to export, for our citizens to travel for leisure or for any other reason, and for our diplomats to advance Britain's influence abroad. Now we live in a world that is changing very dramatically, and so must our airports. And Gatwick is. In recent months, Gatwick's established the first direct air link between Britain and Vietnam. New routes have been opened to Malaysia, Hong Kong, South Korea and China. and more new routes will follow. Now all this is very good news for Gatwick, but on a wider canvas, very good news for all of us in the United Kingdom. And I suppose the flip side of this improving window on the world is that our airports are the front door into the United Kingdom for visitors. For those visitors, their first impressions of our country are shaped by what they see and what they experience when they land at our airports. And that's why the significant investment to improve arrivals infrastructure is so important. It helps to ensure that Gatwick is a welcoming port of entry for every visitor who comes here. Now, this morning I am merely opening the extension to the North Terminal. I say merely, but the extension is pretty much the same size as Lord's Cricket Ground. I have to say, during any 1 year, more people are going to pass through here than will pass through any cricket ground in the world. But I do hope, Stuart, and I hope he takes a careful note of this, I do hope, Stuart, that the queues in this terminal will be less than the waiting list to join the MCC, which is measured in years rather than minutes. Now this extension is one part only of a 475 million investment in improvements that are necessary to support broadly an anticipated 25% increase in passengers within the next decade. Numbers are expected to increase exponentially, and hence this huge investment, which will hopefully improve services for every airline that delivers its passengers to Gatwick. And there are two improvements. When I did some research on what has been done here, there are two improvements in the North Terminal, innovations really, that particularly caught my attention. The new dedicated premium security lines will be welcomed and utilised by international businessmen and women. And the North Terminal has instituted passenger assistance lanes that will relieve some of the stress associated with arrivals, families with young children, and passengers with reduced mobility. Now that is genuinely a tremendous idea from Gatwick, and one I hope that may become commonplace across airports everywhere. Now before I formally open the extension, let me pick up something Stuart said a moment ago about pride in the recent achievements of Gatwick. I very strongly agree with what he had to say. I think looking around here, that everyone should be proud of the significant improvements that this airport has had and that this airport's partners have delivered in less than 2 years of new ownership. Now I am, as Stuart intimated, myself a senior advisor to Global Infrastructure Partners, who are the largest shareholders in Gatwick. But since I had absolutely no personal involvement whatever in these changes, I hope I may still be permitted to congratulate David, Stuart and their colleagues on all they've achieved over that period. These improvements, necessary, welcome, aimed at the long term, are a testament to confident investment, sound planning, imagination, and I've no doubt a great deal of hard work. But for me, the strongest message from the investment being made, the innovation being developed, and the leadership being given, is that here at Gatwick, they're fashioning a gateway for the United Kingdom that will help Britain extend its reach far around the world and far afield. Now Gatwick is going to continue to compete with our neighbours in the European Union and also with the rising challenge from the new markets of Greater Asia. And in improving its efficiency, Gatwick is not only helping passengers and helping airlines, it's contributing to economic growth and well-being right across the United Kingdom, and that is vital to our national interest. So it's for all those reasons and others that it would be too tedious to set out at length, and I'm delighted to have the privilege of opening this new extension. Well, I looked around at all the new high-tech innovations there may be, and I'm now going to have a very high-tech opening. As you will see, it's extremely difficult. I have to whip this cover off, at which point we may formally declare the extension open.
could just record that then.